Well, hey, how you doing? I hope all is well. I just super excited to be here today. I know it doesn't really sound like it, but I promise you, I am excited to be here right now in this very moment to talk to some of my good girlfriends out there. I want to welcome you. For those of you that are watching me on Facebook, those of you that are watching me on my YouTube channel, I am just really excited to have this discussion this morning. And as you could tell by the topic itself, I asked, hey, sis, like, where are you? Like, what's going on with you? I hope all is well. I hope you enjoyed your Mother's Day. If you're a mom, if you're an auntie, if you're a godmom, all of the above. Okay. I really wanted to show up in pure fashion. I wanted to have my lashes on and all of that. But unfortunately, when you don't put your lashes up where they're supposed to be, they end up all over the place. So I couldn't find my lashes, but I'm still here. Okay. Because, sometimes a woman wants to really show up real cute on the live videos. But nevertheless, I'm here to deliver some really good, hot information. Okay. I'm really ready to get down to the get down. Now, I ask you the question, sis, where are you? I want to know, like, what's going on with you. Listen, a lot of us, through trial and error, we go through the process of elimination when it comes down to trying to keep our peace after we've gone through some turmoil in our life. And this conversation is coming about because of a couple of things. Over the last few days, I've been encountering women who have found themselves in a place of hiding. And hiding, they don't even know they're hiding. They think that it's really protecting their peace. Understand that life, when it happens to us at any age, but more so than not, when we get, as I always talk about, on the other side of the fence, we're going into 50 and 60 years old. Sometimes it can cause us to really evaluate things in our lives. Think about it. We've gone through a lot of loss, right? Heartbreak, relationships expired with some people, divorce, grief, all of the things that I always talk about. You name it, it's going down. And with that being said, that can cause you to kind of pull back in your own life. And over the, I would say, like I said, the span of a couple of weeks now, I've been running into women from the age of in their 40s and 50s. Even I spoke with someone in their 80s who is still trying to find herself. And I got to thinking, that's why I said, let me go ahead and make this video and ask the women out there, like, where are you? Are you hiding in your own life? Are you hiding and not taking center stage? And don't get me wrong, I've had my share, I've had my moments when I have had to pull back and recognize that I needed time to rebuild myself and find that peaceful state, right? I had to find the medium in where I fit in, because that is some of the questions or the conversations that I've been having with some women lately is they're not sure of where they fit in right now. And because of the uncertainty, they've kind of fell back in their own lives. They're no longer active doing the things that they enjoy. This is not something that I'm just conjuring up. These are the conversations that I actually have been having with other women. And it's showing me that it's a pattern there. And sometimes it is described as or disguised as I'm trying to protect my peace. Now, that part about protecting your peace can be sometimes just really a facade. And I wrote it down because I had some really good aha moments as I was preparing for to get on the video. And I said, let me write this down before I forget it. And peace and isolation are not always the same thing. I wrote that down. And I'm going to say it again. Peace and isolation are not always the same thing. Peace, protecting your peace, regrouping yourself in order to get direction for your life is one thing. But when isolation actually kind of creeps in and take you down a rabbit hole, you start to withdraw from everything that you love. So I want to know where you're at today. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to know, are you in your happy place? Are you kind of indecisive? What's going on with you? I hope that you are showing up center stage in your own life. Remember, if you listened to my video last week or the week before, I talked about, just showing up how you want to show up. If you want to put on a dress that can be something that you wanted to hold for a special occasion, girl, you better wear that dress now. You better show up center stage. I felt so good yesterday. Let me tell you, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Now, that's not arrogance. I am stepping into who I am. I'm stepping into that place where I feel good about myself, with weight on me or not. I had to make a decision, just like I'm asking where you at today, to make a decision to show up in your life, to take the center stage and come out of isolation. Isolation will make you feel as though like the air has been sucked out of your life. And now the things and the places and the spaces that you enjoyed going to or being a part of, you no longer want to do that. So therefore, let's not use that phrase, okay? Because I'm going to get on some of y'all today. Don't use this phrase all the time talking about, yeah, that's why I don't be around certain people, because I'm protecting my peace. Sometimes that is described really as you're isolating yourself. Isolating yourself doesn't come like, I would say, I'm just going to isolate myself. No, it's a slow kind of process that kind of pulls you in like a nice warm blanket. On a cold night, you got that warm blanket and you just cozy up, and honey, you could sleep for days. You feel so good and peaceful and at rest, but you can stay there too long and miss everything. And that's why I'm asking you, girl, where you at? I hope you ain't hiding. I hope that you have not checked out. And now you're looking at life from I would say, a foggy glass. Therefore, I'm asking you that question because I want you to locate, where are you? Are you showing up vibrant, feeling good about yourself? Praying in the morning, have some affirmations that you use, or declaring the word of God over your life. What is it that you're doing to really, I would say, hone in on where you're at in this season? Because I am not naive to the fact that you probably could say to me or leave a comment and be like, girl, that's you. That's not me. You might be in a good place, but I'm not there. Well, listen, don't get me wrong. Everybody has a season. That moment where the wind get knocked out of you and you have to regroup. And so I'm just here to encourage you, to give you some food for thought, to think about the moves that you're going to make, right? Because isolation, it brings about, that emotional shutdown. You shut down from everything. Like I said, your mind have you ever felt like your mind just went into like a brain fog? You can't even think clearly. Everything that you want to do, you don't even have energy to do. I have been there. I get up, or in my mind, I think, oh, I have all of these things that I want to accomplish. But that brain fog, that emotional shutdown is really a real thing. That's that part of isolation that I want to pull you out of. I want to pull you out of that place where you feel like, I feel like I'm just different. We all say that at times. Well, I'm just different. Well, the common denominator is the fact that women, we all go through different things at different times, but you have to be really mindful. Are you in a peaceful place, or are you in isolation? That's the question to ask yourself today. Because again, I hear this all the time. I don't like a lot of friends. I don't want a lot of friends. I don't need this and I don't need that. But just like a plant, I love plants. And what I did wrong recently was I have all these beautiful plants that was flourishing. And they're actually right by the windows where they can get a lot of sunlight. Now, not only did they need sunlight, they needed some watering. I totally forgot to keep up with the routine to water my plants. And what happened? Well, y'all already know. They're starting to die. One of my plants is totally wiped out because I didn't pay attention to it. I gave it no love. My mind totally was in another place, and they all got wiped out. Now, it's a few plants still trying to hang in there, but you get the picture. Some of them are on their last leg. So I wanted to bring this to you this morning to start you on your way for this beautiful day. Even though it's raining here in Delaware, I wanted to give you some food for thought because I know that I'm not by myself, that I have thought these things, I have been through these things. I know people who are going through that maze right now of just feeling stuck, feeling like they're lost. They have no purpose, they have no vision, no drive, no goal at this moment outside of working. Now, again, some people, and I recognize this too, where you have there are those that are easy starters. They just get ignited for whatever reason. Then you have those that you have to encourage. And I'm encouraging you this morning and encouraging myself. I am not only preaching to the choir, but I am taking my own dose of medicine, my own self. That's why if you follow me on my social media platforms, I am not just talking about it, I am being about it. I am being a partaker in my own life. And I want you to be a partaker in your own life too. Now, I know it may sound a little elementary, but sometimes we're not doing it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here today to encourage you and to say, girl, where you at? Are you hiding? Come on out. Come on out. Get back into center stage of your life. Start rebuilding, right? How do you rebuild? I had to write some stuff down because, when we get a little bit more seasoned, there are times we need an outline. And these were all of my thoughts. I just was jotting them down because I had y'all in my mind this morning. I was like, let me talk to my sisters. Let's have some let's talk some real life. Let's pretend nobody's here. It's just me and you. You're probably saying, okay, well, Vera, how do you do that? How do you come out of isolation? I mean, right now, I'm loving my peace. That's probably what y'all are saying. I love my peace. I'm good by myself because I ain't got no problems. Of course, you don't have problems because when you're by yourself, when you are in your own zone, you agree with your nonsense. You agree with the negativity because that's how the enemy comes in and he brings depression. He brings discouragement. And then he makes you fade into the back, right? The enemy comes in and now he done had his way with you. And now you're trying to find your way back. Have you ever felt like, man, I just got to get it together? Like, I don't know what's going on with me, but I got to get it together. Sometimes it's tied to our medical condition. I'll be frank with you. Sometimes, like, if I'm really sluggish, make sure you're taking care of yourself. For me, if I'm really sluggish, I know maybe my medicine is off, right? Because I have hypothyroidism. If my medicine is off, I gain a lot of weight, like some of y'all see on me. There are things that are going on, but I'm pushing forward because I know that I still have a lot of living to do. And that ain't no excuse, right? Get out, get some fresh air, do something different for yourself. So let's get back to it. How do you get out of the funk? How do you find yourself? Where you at, girl? I'm trying to locate you. The thing you have to do is now you have to do something called reconditioning. Recondition your mind. When you recondition your mind, that means that you're going to have to get a whole new view. Okay, you're like, all right, some of y'all, and I say y'all because it's not me. I am a person that enjoys adventures. I've been like that all of my life. And when I get into a funk or isolation, I no longer want to be adventurous. So I need something to ignite the fire again. And how do you do that? You have to have some new conversations, which means you have to be intentional about having some new conversations with some new people. Yeah, I know that is going to be difficult for some of you if you want to take the center stage. Now, if you're still kind of like sticking your toe in, that's fine. I'm just giving you food for thought, right? Because girls, we just talking life. I just love to talk life with my sister girls, my good girlfriends. I just like to talk real talk. Now, when you are in the process of now reconnecting, right, or reconditioning your mind, that's going to cause you to truly come out of your comfort zone and be rerouted. Think about it like this. Have you ever been riding on a highway and you see like they have the signs that's telling you it's a detour and you have to get off? That means that things are being rerouted for a couple of reasons. The rerouting could be because there's been an accident, or the rerouting could be because there's construction going on. Now, both of those things has actually happened in our lives. Think about it. Sometimes it's an accident, meaning like life has really hit you hard and you had to like slam on the brakes. And now you're like, what do I do? Sound familiar, right? Maybe you have lost a job. Maybe you retired. Or maybe you are a widow. Maybe you are divorced. Maybe you're separated. Maybe you are caught between trying to find a new job and you're having an issue with that. All right. Or you're under construction, meaning that you already have made a decision because it's your decision. When an accident happened, that's beyond your control. Some things you may cause, sometimes things have happened to you and you had no other choice but to go ahead and reroute. So what happens when you decide to make that decision that you totally said, all right, I'm going to make this decision and I have to do something different? And now you're frustrated because it's not taken off the way that you wanted to, but you still got to stay the course. You still have to show up for you. You have to come out of hiding. You have to recondition your mind. That means that you cannot stay stuck in where you were. And I wrote this down. You can't heal in spaces committed to the old version of you. I'm going to say that again. You can't heal in spaces that's committed to the old version of you. Oh my God. When I got that revelation, it made so much sense. And especially when it's this war going on the inside of you that it's just so much more that you desire out of life, but you don't know how to get it. Which leads me into this good, juicy conversation. Yesterday, I said, okay, it's Mother's Day. I went to church. I did a lot of different things. I went to church. I went and got me something to eat. I went to the movies. And I saw the movie about Michael Jackson. And as a person who does coaching and certified in trauma, I was really kind of like dissecting the movie itself. And it tied into the shift that has to take place in life in order to get to the next level and where you want to be. And I thought about the movie. The first thing I noticed was, now I don't want to spoil things. I'm not going to tell you the things that actually happened in the movies, but for the most part, most of us have heard a little bit about his story. And this is my take on it. All right. So I wrote down some points. With Michael Jackson, when I first started to view the movie, it was talking about his childhood. And for the most part, we all know that he had some challenges as a child, right? He grew up in a dysfunctional family like most of us have in one way or another. So that's nothing new. That's kind of common in society as a whole. And then all of the things that happened to him, it caused him to really avoid a lot of confrontation because of the abuse that he had endured from his dad. He had been beaten a lot as a child, and he had a lot on his shoulders. You have to think about it. Here it is, the Jackson 5 family, but everybody's looking at him as the meal ticket. This was my take on the movie. And that was a lot of pressure. He had a difficult time because he was like, the financial responsibility was on him. As I stated, he was like the golden ticket. That was pressure as a child. And he stated it more than once that he did not actually have a childhood. He lived in a neighborhood, but nobody knew him because he was always on the road. He was always out there performing. Have you ever felt like that? Oh my God, I'm getting so much revelation. All he did was perform and stay in his room and having this wild imagination about what he wanted to do with his life. But he felt stuck. He felt trapped because it was always the word said to him about the family. You got to do it for the family. And that is something that has conditioned his mind to think a one way of thinking. Sounds like us sometimes, right? See, I was dissecting this movie. It was so good. And therefore, it caused him to shrink back every time he wanted to take a step to step into who he had become as an adult. He always reverted back out of the fear of what his father said. You got to do it for the family. You got to do what I say. And as a grown man, he still was trapped mentally as a child, the way he thought at times when he wasn't on the stage. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had a time or two that I had to face the little girl on the inside of me. And believe it or not, that little girl, or I've come to understand that men watch my videos too, is that little boy or the little girl on the inside is still there crying out. There might be some deficits that you did not get fulfilled, and it still haunts you to this day. This is still tying into, hey, sis, where are you? What's going on with you? Come out of hiding. Now, keep in mind that Michael Jackson had to go on tour with his brothers, and he did not want to. He wanted to break away. But every time he had these aha moments, would stay, in his room and write down all the stuff. And he just had so much talent that he was like, I got a lot of songs. I got a lot of, creating content. It's in my head. He had to get it out. And for me, I think like that. I have so much I want to do. I want to get it out. And how many of you may think the same way? So much you want to do, so much life still to live, so much possibility, right? But yet it's still a challenge to get it out. And Michael went through that. And his father kept demanding what he was going to do. So pretty much it took his voice. He was powerful on the stage, but when he got at home, it's like he just shrunk back. Even as an adult, he shrunk to a child when he was in the presence of his dad. How does this tie in with us? Think about it. Someone asks you, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. And for the church folk, oh, I'm blessed by the best. Everything good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Some of us won't ask for help. We are prideful. We don't want people to know what we're going through. We cry. We suffer in silence. But in front of the fans, in front of the people, we act like everything's good. Kind of make you think about the movie, right? Yeah. Everybody thought everything was fine because he was so talented. He was gifted. But he was suffering because he wasn't living the life that he really wanted to live. And it got so bad that he had asked one of, I guess, one of the guys that would help him out. I want to say one of the assistants. He got him to do his dirty work. You go tell my dad. But they couldn't even do it because they were so fearful. And just like us, there are things that we fear. We fear retaliation. We fear people telling us, you want to do that? You want to go where? Oh, you can't do that. So what do? We stay longer in relationships than we should. I knew my marriage was over after the second year that I was married, but I stayed like 14 years in a toxic relationship. And I dreamed of the day of doing something different, but I was very comfortable. Understand that isolation can become comfortable. It's familiar to you. There's no resistance. But yet there's a battlefield going on in your mind. Oh, yeah, I know. It's hitting some of you, this conversation right between the eyes. I know it. We stay with people out of comfortability. I'm talking to the women that are married. Now, I'm not telling you to leave anybody. Don't go there. I'm just saying that there are things that we put up in our lives that we know that we're not happy, right? We stay at jobs longer than we should because what is it that we say? Well, I need the money. I got bills to pay. And yet, you're suffering in silence. You're suffering to the point where emotionally eating, or you're constantly complaining to people about it, or you're full of fear and anxiety, you're depressed. All of this is due to that isolation and not speaking up for yourself, having that fear, feeling stuck, and thinking, oh well, it's not, it doesn't take me, it doesn't take all that. I think I'm past that stage where I'm even thinking about dreaming of doing that or doing this. And you talk yourself out of the next move in your life. So where are you today? I want you to locate yourself. And anything that you can identify with, make sure you put it in the comment. Anything that's hitting home with you, put it in the comment. Because I know that we've all been there. But I want you to know that it's a way out. Because it's all about reconditioning your mind, changing your mindset, getting boldness to move out and step out and do the things that is hard to do. And what I have found out, it's easy for me to do certain things. So I get that joy. I get a rush from it. I could do it with my eyes closed. But the hard thing, I always say, okay, I'm going to do the easy thing first. And then I'm going to do the hard thing. And most of the time, I don't get to the hard thing because I don't want to face the hard thing. Y'all tracking with me? I know y'all like, oh my goodness. It's easy to give someone else advice about how things can change in their lives. It's easy for you to encourage others to be the best that they could be, and especially the younger generation. Oh, you could talk to them all day long. See, we can talk a good game with someone else until we have to be the one to take the medicine ourselves. That's where you get the pushback. That's where you get the headache. That's where you feel like, oh, I'm inadequate, right? You feel like you got to go take a nap, right? You get caught up doing everything else under the sun, but coming out of hiding in your life and taking center stage. You come so far, but then you won't go. You just stick your big toe in it, but you won't go deep diving into the water because your mind isn't reconditioned. You're comfortable in isolation and don't even know it, thinking that it's peace when it's really isolation because you've been there too long. and then you feel stuck and you don't know how to get out. Yes, I know all about it. I've been there and I've done that. See, let me explain this to you. The new route is going to cause you to yield. Start going sightseeing, taking a different route. Yesterday, when I was out, I got this insatiable feeling to go ahead and take a different route home. I just was spontaneous with it. I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to take that road. I'm going to go in a different direction. And I felt it so strongly because I want to do things and be fearless when I do it. I want to walk into places where I have never been before boldly. Now, I get it. I always go back to this. I understand you're not me and I'm not you, but I'm giving you food for thought because I know all of the common sense or the things that I'm throwing out to you, it may be common sense to some people. I already know that. But everybody may need somebody to just say, I want to remind you of it, that you're worth whatever it is that you want to do. You're worthy of being loved. You're worthy of that new position. You're worthy of becoming an entrepreneur. You're worthy of relocating. You're worthy of doing what you need to do for yourself. You're worthy of wearing that cute little dress if you want to. I got so many compliments yesterday. And now, can I tell you, this is all, again, I'm always transparent. Now, because although I have put on some weight, I had to say to myself, first of all, I was for a while down on myself, like, I gained so much weight. My goodness. To the point where I started to make a decision and just post little notes on my page like I would do, like something little posted, because sometimes people get caught up in the imagery that they don't show up. My outside and my insides may not always match, meaning that I remember going to a therapist one time and they asked me what was wrong. And I said, my insides didn't match my outside, meaning that I always show up. I'm like, hi, how you doing? But on the inside, I was crying. I was depressed. I was hopeless. I was going through a lot at that time. My children were young. I was going through stuff in my relationship. But nevertheless, I'm going to show up for me. So when I put this particular dress on yesterday with the weight and everything, I put my shoulders back, put my makeup on and my lashes, and I felt good. I sashayed to church. I sashayed around at the mall. I sashayed everywhere I went, because who gonna love you more than you? We look for validation so many times in the wrong places. We look for validation from people, men, our children. We look for validation from the world. But what do you feel about yourself? And I had to say, wow, even though I know that there is work for me to do on my body, my mind, my body, my soul, I still felt good when I put my clothes on and people, oh, you look so nice. I love your dress. Oh, I like your shoes. There will be a time when I will be like, oh, I don't think that this match. I wouldn't care. Now I'm in a space where I want to feel good in anything that I put on. I used to be the person that wore jeans every day, jeans. Jean mom. You know, when you're a mother, you would throw on anything, especially when your children are young, because I was not cognizant of the fact that it's just so much going on. You just don't have time for yourself. But at this stage of life, I am being intentional about taking time for myself. So I want you to think about that. Are you showing up for you? How you really feel? On the inside, how do you feel about you? So what if you put on a few pounds? So what if you cut your hair? Your hair is short, your hair is long. So what if you don't have the perfect pitch when you speak? Do it afraid. Show up for you. Come out of the hiding space. Whether you're just like, okay, I just want to do something different in my life and I don't know what. Well, there's where reconditioning is going to bring about going sightseeing and getting a new vision by getting around people who are going in the places and spaces that you want to be in. Now, there could be no excuse for that now because social media is like the mecca of anything that you need, you can find it. So I'm saying to you that where you at? I'm asking you, where you at? Are you showing up for you? You be your biggest cheerleader. I remember so many times being in a toxic relationship that when I would just get out the house, I still felt downtrodden. You know, people can pick up on your spirit. They can pick up on if you're happy or sad just by the way you show up. And I refused. I said to myself when I got out the shower one day, I said, "Woo, girl, you fat." Look, I said, "Woo." I didn't realize. But nevertheless, it's due to medication, some other stuff, but that's, neither here nor there. But what I'm trying to convey is stop selling yourself short. Take yourself off the clearance rack. Don't accept certain things any longer. I had to make a decision. I'm telling you, I won't say I was a doormat, but I was the yes girl. I have a kind heart. I give to people. I would show up for others. I was people's biggest cheerleaders. I would reach out to people through text to see how they're doing because I knew they weren't doing well. They never respond back until they want something from me. And then all of a sudden, oh, and then I would act like, well, I'm just going to overlook that. No, I'm not overlooking bad behavior any longer. And I'm not doing that. I'm going to give you the same energy. I'm not giving you the same energy. I am going to guard my heart, going to have boundaries, but I'm going to love on people who love on me in the sense of showing up for one another and getting away from those who have your problem and getting around those who have your answer. That's what you should do. I don't know what that looked like. I never seen that model. Google it. I wanted to make some earrings out of the yarn. I learned how to do that. Google it. There is no excuse for you to be in a sad state, a depressed state of mind right now. You don't have another life to live. This is the only one that you have, and you have to recondition your mind. You see, this is the point where the tables turn, even in the Michael Jackson story. Michael Jackson, for a very long time, within, I would say, the segment of the movie that I saw and how it was portrayed, because you can't put everything in like a 2-hour movie. I mean, let's just be real. But we get the gist of it. Michael Jackson feared his dad, even up until adulthood. And he would try to go to his father to express himself. And every time he did that, before he could get one word out, Joe was in his face telling him what he was going to do and what he was not going to do. And every time he did that to Michael, Michael would shrink back. He wouldn't even speak of the things that he wanted to do out of fear. What was that? He was conditioned. He was conditioned. He was trained to think like that because the father usurped his authority over him. So what are you conditioned to? What had you in a chokehold? What had you bound? You see, yesterday, if you follow me on, those of you that are on my YouTube channel, or if you're on my Facebook, I wrote a post yesterday. And I started off with saying that I was not going to paint a pretty picture. I'm going to tell you truth. Because many times when holidays come up or a loved one's date of their death comes up, people put up, I'm sad today. I wish my mom was here, or I wish my dad was here. Oh, I have all these, and I'm sad. I'm in the bed, I'm crying, and all of that. Now, I understand grief, and people express themselves differently. So don't take this the wrong way. But this is my way of thinking about reconditioning what has happened. I reconditioned myself to say, hey, listen, your mom's not here. People have brought their mothers to church or they fellowship together. And so they're able to be there with one another. But I made a conscious decision. Like Joyce Meyer said, you can't be powerful and pitiful at the same time. I chose to celebrate life because had my mother not lived, I wouldn't be here. Although she's gone, when I look in the mirror with the extra weight and all, I still see my mother's features in me. Therefore, she's gone from here, but the thumbprint she left on me is still visual. So I celebrated that. I made a conscious decision not to post every time, like I said, the date of somebody's death. I'm not posting any more pictures of that. I'm thinking about living, growth, blooming, enjoying life to the fullest till it overflows. Do I have a moment? Everybody does. But I purpose in my mind, don't stay there too long. That's how depression sets in. And then it makes its home there. So if you're depressed today, get up from there. Take center stage in your own life. Look for something to be happy about. You may not be married right now. Hey, you need to be shouting for joy that you don't have anybody in your house that brings tension, that brings stress, someone who's combative. That's where my joy comes from. I think about that. I'm like, oh, I thank God I ain't got to deal with that. Because I know what that's like to be yoked to somebody when you're a happy, optimistic person and they are negative Nellies. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I celebrate the peace in my house. I celebrate the joy that I feel. I celebrate being able to get up and go wherever I want and not have to answer to not one person. I celebrate that. I honor God. I thank God for that. I realize that sometimes when we try to stay connected to things that God is trying to get us from, because we stay connected sometimes too long out of comfortability and fear of change. Oh, you better say so, Vera. I feel my help coming. I feel the chills. I feel a preaching girl coming on all right now, because we are afraid of change. Change really shows you who you are. When you're standing in a place, in a posture by yourself, you have to deal with you. You have to look at you. You have to think about your negative things and the good things about you. You got to deal with you. This is why sometimes when we are single, we want to run here, run there. We want to do this and do that because we don't want to be in a place of silence. We don't want to feel all of the things that we need to deal with so that we could get healed. But today I asked you that question, girl, where you at? Come out of hiding. I had someone, call me yesterday, actually text me, and it just confirmed what I was saying through my picture and my post. I said on yesterday all of the things that I already spoke about, how, hey, I'm celebrating the day and I'm celebrating my mother's life and I'm celebrating the fact that I'm still here. I'm still healing. I'm still growing. I'm still blooming. Someone texted me and said, thank you for that. I won't put our business out there, but thank you for that, because that person was sitting there because they don't have really a good relationship at this point with their one of their children, and they were feeling some type of way. But the post that I made them think about, hey, I'm going to have some fun today. I'm going to celebrate me, celebrate you. Because what I recognize, I'm going there. On social media, everyone wants to look like their lives is just picture perfect. But for me, I'm a realist and I tell it all. And then I talk about the good, and then I talk about the bad. So even if you have children that really don't respect you and they have their own narrative of what their life was like as a child, when they don't recognize all of the sacrifices that you made, let them keep the narrative that they have, long as you and God knows the truth. Sometimes, here we go again. Sometimes we have given and done things for people because of familiarity. I remember one time, even my mother had this issue giving. She would give to her parents because her parents, she was trying to buy their love. Have you ever been there? Have you ever known anybody like that? Or it may have been you. But let me free you today. You don't owe anybody anything but to love them. But you owe it to yourself to show up for you. You owe it to yourself to recognize, hey, you got flaws. We all have them. But you can't stay there too long because we still going to make mistakes as long as we live. But it's how you feel on the inside. How you get up. When I get up now, I used to always put on, see, I'm a realist. I would get up, I would put on a t-shirt and some jeans. I would wear jeans, they looked faded, and I would just wear whatever, just throw it on. But I started to recognize there was a shift that happened in my life when I recognized that, no, you take accountability of where you are now in your life. Love on you. You're not living for others. You're living for you in the sense of, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel when you look in the mirror at yourself? Even with your mistakes and all, you got to say, you know what, you messed up on that, but you'll get it right the next time. I've laughed at myself, and you need to laugh at yourself sometime. It's good for the soul. Because it's all about reconditioning your mind, having a mindset shift will build your character, will build strength in you, will have you in a posture now where you protect your heart, where at times you kept your heart open for everything and everybody. So what? You had a divorce. So what? Things happen in your life. We all have had that. But it's your perception of life now. That's what I'm getting to. So peace, let's keep it real. Peace and isolation, oh, listen, it's not the same thing. But at the same time, think about it like this. Emotionally, you can be broken. So you stay in a place of isolation out of being guilty or shame. Think about Michael, because again, I went to see the movie and I dissected it from that perspective, looking at the traumas and looking at how he showed up in his life and looking at how he showed up in front of people on stage and then his private life. Then I think about even Luther Vandross. They say that he was, hey, superstar, right? But when he got home, he was depressed as I don't know what. And guess what? He was an emotional eater. We all saw it. It went up and down because his perception, even though he had money even to travel the world, he could have, I'm just saying, he could have changed his whole mindset and said, you know, I may not have anybody to love, but I'm going to love me. I'm going to see the world. He could have did a lot of things. I'm not God. I don't know everything, but from what they said that, you know, he was very depressed, going through things in his life. So how about you? May not always be emotional eating where you can see the weight gain, but what about the other hidden things in your life? Do you shop? Is shopping like your therapy? Are you a shopaholic? Are you doing all these things to suppress what's really going on the inside of you? It's time to deal with that. It's time for you to deal with those things. I had to deal, when I dealt with it, oh my God, I'm so free. I am so free. When I'm saying free, my mind is clear. My glow is back. My thought process is sharp again. When I was indecisive, I had brain fog. I was antsy on the inside. I was crying a lot because I didn't feel like I was living the full potential of what I'm supposed to do. And can I tell y'all, this is me. I love to share. I love to talk. I love to encourage. I love to empower. I love to push people into their destiny through words of encouragement and the knowledge that I've gained over the years. That's why I can point out a woman who's gone through some stuff and she's trying to hide. I'm like, oh, okay, I could see it on her. I can sniff it out because I've been there. I've been through the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, and then tried to keep it inside and got mad because nobody was there to help me because I didn't let nobody help me because pride was in the way. But then I got a revelation. Hey, listen. A closed mouth don't get fed. So I want you to locate yourself today. I want you to be truthful to yourself. Like, you know what? I need to get me a new attitude. I need to find out what is going on with me. I need to reroute my life. I need to sit down. I mean, just like going in your closet and taking everything out and giving some stuff away. Give away those things that don't serve you any longer. Those expired friendships, right? Get rid of it. All the grief and the loss. Now, those come in waves. I get those too, but I don't let myself stay there long. I don't let myself have a pity party. I don't let myself get into a funk. Like May the 1st was the day my mom and my father passed away on the same day, different years. But you didn't see me on the social media. Oh, this the day I'm reminded I'm going to release some balloons. No, I'm going to celebrate because every time I look at me, I see them because it is a part of life. We all going to leave here. We just don't know when. But get a new chapter. I always talk about rewriting chapters because it's very important for you to understand that you cannot embrace your future if you're still holding on to the past. You can't. We make a lot of cliches. It sounds so good. Everybody on ChatGPT or they getting all these little, but the reality of it all is that statement right there is true. You cannot embrace anything new holding on to the old. You can't embrace new friendships if you are still fearful that, oh, yeah, this person may do that to me. This person may talk about me. We all talk about one another. It's a part of life. What you going to do? You got to get over it because it's going to happen. That friend, I heard it the other day. That friend has another good friend that they probably going to tell your business to. It's a part of life. Or your new relationship is going to suffer. If you are looking for a spouse, that new relationship will suffer because you can't get rid of or you can't get your mind, right, released from what happened before. So now the new person has to pay the price for what somebody else did to you, and that's not fair. Because I told y'all the story about me on the airplane. I was fearful of getting on the plane because I had an issue a couple of years back where it was so much turbulence. When I got off that plane, I made a declaration. I ain't getting on a plane no more. I'm done. And I stayed away from flying for several years, which caused me to not travel the way I truly wanted to travel. And then I made a decision. I said, I am not going to let fear stop me. Because I am a believer, so I had to declare faith over fear. And I did it. I got back on. And not only did it, I sat right by the window. Sometimes you gotta look that devil in the face and be like, I ain't gonna be stuck no more. I ain't gonna be sitting in the house no more. I'm gonna find things to do. I'm going to get that job or I'm going to start that business. I'm not going to be fearful. You might have tried something before, a business that didn't work out. So what? Try again. It's just that simple. So I'm going to close with this part right here. So thinking about that movie, right, with Michael, he was miserable because he wasn't living his truth. And to top it off, I don't know because we weren't there. But even those that were supposed to protect him, such as his mom, from what it showed in the movie, Pops was beating the crap out of him, and Mom never stepped in. She just let him do it. Okay, till he almost got grown, and the father still talking about he gonna beat him. And the mother was like, that ain't happening no more because he's grown. But you see what conditioning can do? Every time he tried to get away, because he was already plotting and planning with a new assistant. He had new people coming on board. He had an attorney. He started setting things up, but he still was fearful to even step to his dad because he didn't have nobody to talk to outside of his animals and looking at his books and things of that nature. Because remember, he was still a kid on the inside. He had a lot of unfinished business. He had to grow up so fast. He had the burdens of the world on him. And he had the burden of wanting to be free. I recall feeling like that. I'm like, man, I know I'm not living to my full potential. God, what is it? When you going to get me out of this mess? Have you ever felt like that? Lord, when you going to get me out of this? You done cried, you done snotted, you done did all of the things, and you still stuck in the mess. But until you change your perception, that's when everything will shift. You want to know how I know? Think about this. As soon as Michael said, one day he got tired of his dad, he made a decision. He said, you know what? My dad said I got to go on this tour, that victory tour. And he didn't want to go because he wanted to go ahead and put more time into his project. He had things that he wanted to do. He wanted to go on tour himself. Dad gonna tell him, no, you coming on this tour. You hear me? And he turned into a little kid again. He just looked at it. He said, I'm gonna go on this tour. But he said this out of his mouth, but this is gonna be my last one. So he went on that tour. Some of y'all that might have seen the movie, it was good. People had different things to say about it, whatever. People always gonna talk about something, whatever. But what I liked about it, when he went on that last tour, he was doing this thing, he was dancing, he was getting it in, and he got that mic and he said, turn the music down. And he made a declaration right there. I want to thank y'all for the 20 years or whatever he said. And then he said, this is going to be my last tour. Woo! Joe was hot. Joe was pissed. But you know what? Think about it. Had he not made a decision to come out of hiding and take center stage, you would have never heard all the other songs that he had made because he was bound. He was locked in because of the family. He was conditioned. But when he got a new mindset, oh, the Lord is bringing this together. When he got a new mindset, when he made a decision and said, Joe can't tell me what to do anymore. I'm out of here. Deuces. We would not have seen the extension of what he did on his own had he not made a conscious decision to take center stage. And that's what I want to convey to you today. It's time for you to come out of hiding and take center stage. It's time for you to live the life that you know that you were created to live, because you know it's so much more to you. And then there are those who are satisfied where you are. And if you are, then this ain't for you. But this is for the dreamers. Where my dreamers at? You're not too old to still dream. You're not too old to still have goals and desires. You're not too old to teach, to preach. You're not too old to do whatever it is in your heart. As long as you got breath in your body, you got to take center stage because you owe it to yourself, girl. So where y'all at? Let me know in the comments if this, touched your heart, if this made you think outside the box. Because when I tell you, when I found my voice, I said, I got to go back like Harriet Tubman. I got to go get my sisters. I got to go ahead and tell them, listen, it's change on the other side of that hesitation. It's change on the other side of your disappointment, your embarrassment, your grief, your shame, your doubt. It's change on the other side. But the question I'm going to ask you is, Where you at? You ready for that change to take place? Show up. Time for you to show up. Take center stage, because if you want to look at an example, Michael did it big. After he got out of being under Joe's foot, he made a change. He even wrote a song about it. So y'all go ahead and come out of hiding. Take center stage. You only get one life. Get off that clearance rack. Y'all hear me? All right. If you liked anything that I shared today, make sure you subscribe to my channel. You know what? And share with your good girlfriends, because we all need somebody. Need somebody to cheer us on. All right. Y'all enjoy y'all day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm out.